All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Green Teas podcast. I'm your host, Carter Whitelow, and we've got two very special guests. These gentlemen are not only business owners, and I'm telling you, business owners of the highest kind. They have Belvedere Golf Co., awesome company that sells hats and clothes, t-shirts, you name it, but also are burgeoning superstars in the YouTube and IG game. So Jack and Dillon, welcome to the Green Teas podcast. Thank you for joining us.
Carter, we appreciate you having us. This is, I don't know about Jack, but this is one of the first podcasts I've been on. So forgive me if I'm a little bit nervous or what, but I'm just ecstatic to be on here with y'all.
Yeah, absolutely. Same. My heart is pounding.
It's like a two-shot.
No way.
Literally.
I have no idea why you're nervous because you guys are naturals in front of the camera. Like, it's just insane. Jack, you've been out there scoring super low, making me look bad by putting all this fantastic golf footage on YouTube, man. And I really appreciate you joining me. But to the both of you, what brought you to golf? Jack, I know you play ball, you play basketball.
Yeah.
But for both of you guys, how did you get started in golf?
Yeah, so for me, golf is like interesting. My dad was a teaching pro when I was a kid. And so, and I have four brothers, so all of us would kind of just have to be, at the course with him or at the range with him when he was giving lessons. And we all just sort of like picked up a club and started smashing balls. And I think if you start really early, you just develop like this natural muscle memory swing that has like, you don't really think about it. You just see the ball and you just hit it. And I think like having that foundation as such a young kid, it just helped me for, later on down in life when I really picked golf up again. I stopped playing for a long time. Like I really didn't. I played for 1 year in middle school, 6th grade. It was blazing hot. And I was just like, man, I just want to go skateboard again with Dylan. So I picked skateboarding up and like that was kind of my love for a long time. And then during COVID, I was like, man, I got to find something to do outside. And I just fell in love with golf so fast. And so since COVID, I've been like really locked back in. So that's kind of my golf story.
Yeah, I'm similar to Jack in that COVID really kickstarted, and similar to probably a lot of other golfers out there, at least, new golfers, new-ish. I picked it up in COVID. My grandpa bought me a set of clubs when I was in high school, and, I knocked around some balls with buddies and never really took it serious. Didn't get bit by the bug, so to speak, really until COVID. And I fell head over heels in love with the game, the sport, everything about it. And I've been enjoying it as a new golfer. You've got struggles, and it teaches you a lot about yourself and the sport pretty early on. But I will say I had a big moment this week. I broke 80 for the first time, so I'm riding high now. Can't ride too high, you gotta, highs are never too high, lows aren't too low. So gotta stay as even keel as I can. But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't celebrating a bit after that one.
Was it a 79 or what was it?
It was a 78. So we just snuck in there, but you know what? It for the first time, it felt great. It felt like I put an entire round of golf together with really, really little mistakes. So I was super excited about that.
I heard there was a driven green, perhaps?
There was. I did play the white tees. I got paired with a single. This gentleman was he was retired. So he was playing up a little bit. I play the whites or blues anyway, but we played the whites, so I got to play forward a little bit, and I did, in fact, drive a green and sink the eagle putt, so that helped score a little bit.
I would ask your distances, but I don't want to get embarrassed. I mean, where was it?
No. It was at Providence.
Oh, cool. That's a great track. Okay, damn. Picking it up during COVID and being able to drive the green and break 80 in 4 years. What a testament to like how much grinding you all had to put into it. And that says something, dude.
It's been a lot of grinding. It's a labor of love for sure. So yeah, I didn't expect to be this far into my golf journey this quickly, but I spent some hours on the range, so I'm just happy.
Damn. Congratulations. I'm trying trying to break 80 myself. I've only broken 80 one time, and it was electronically, and I felt like I won the Super Bowl. So I'm peaking. But I'm not there
were you
yet.
at
But that's
a
okay.
simulator, Carter? Me and Dylan spent
Yeah.
a lot of hours at the indoor golf simulator in
Yeah,
Midlothian, like many an
this
hour.
is that Kobe interview. What you see from me, I got from him. Jack being him.
Yeah. I
Thank you, Dylan.
understand.
No,
Jack, you must be the teacher of the group.
honestly, I'm really bad at like explaining any concept regarding golf. Like I'm horrible at it. Like because like, and it sounds so like I'm trying to be like, this is like the most accurate like viewpoint that I can have on it. Like I try to communicate essentially the fact that I just have muscle memory from age 5, and there is no other concept other than like I just know how to do this because when I was a kid I could do it, you know. And so like trying to establish like, hey, Dill, you know, turn your shoulder all the way to your chin and stop at your chin, and then swing back down and like tuck your elbow in and then twist. Like it's just too many things. And every time like anybody asks for a tip, I end up giving like an entire golf swing lesson instead of just saying like in this little teeny thing you need to like try to rotate your hips. It just becomes like the entire golf game in one lesson, and it like never works out. So honestly, I deserve no credit other than just like saying, let's go to the range and spend hours there. Like that's it.
You're like the Magic Johnson of golf, man. Like, just tell the kids out there, just do it exactly like I do it. You know what I mean? And that's it.
I guess, yeah,
It should
I would
work.
accept that comparison only because Magic Johnson had no left hand and I can't swing lefty. So that's like the only, I'll take that for sure.
We're going Magic Johnson slander. How in 4 years do you go from picking up golf after the pandemic to launching a golf brand, launching a YouTube channel, and kind of taking over the airwaves? How does that transition happen?
Man, I fell in love with the game. Like that's the easiest way I can put it. Like I love every part of it. As much as I love playing it, I love making content around it. I love like taking inspiration I have from different worlds. I spent a lot of time previously. So I'm a videographer by profession. I'm sure that won't surprise you, but I spent a lot of time. I worked in the professional motocross industry, and so I did a lot of work in that realm. And so not only that, I skateboarded all my life, Jack and I both. So pulling inspiration from that side of things and how those groups of people approach media and making things look and feel really cool, that was a pretty easy sort of grab for me to pull inspiration from my own personal experiences and the things that I watch that I think are cool into something else like golf that I think is equally as cool. And like in some aspects, it doesn't get that kind of love or attention rather to like making cool media around it. I think golf, I think we're getting there. There's so many creators making awesome stuff. And like, I think we're getting there, but there's always room for more. And I think that's what we're really trying to do. And that's our approach is to have fun with it and make stuff like we always have. Jack and I made, I don't know how many skateboard videos when we were kids. And so it really, a lot of times just feels like that to us, which is a blessing really, because that means we're just having fun.
Yeah. And I think like it is like, yeah, like, you know, falling in love with this game, like again, because yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, played it because my dad was at the range, but really didn't enjoy golf. I just enjoyed, you know, smashing balls. But whenever I would have to play, I would shoot like 190, and like it just really wasn't that fun as a kid. Like skateboarding was more fun, or you know, playing basketball, football, whatever, team sports, and hanging out with Dylan skating. That was just more up like what I wanted to do back then. But then falling back in love with it during COVID and realizing like all of the parts about it that make it so addicting, like as an adult person, just it was so hard to like to put down. Like as soon as I picked up the club, it like started again during COVID, I just like couldn't stop. There's just like this, like when you start playing golf, like it honestly does feel like it's something that you just can never master, but it's like so awesome to keep trying. And it's just like, also, you're not supposed to master it. Like, you're actually not supposed to be good at this game. It's like impossible. So like getting as close as you possibly can to good is just like such an awesome pursuit. And yeah, I think there's parallels with skating too, which me and Dylan, that's probably our first love together. And like we've been, honestly, like in a sense, we've been building a brand or being creative with each other for forever. Like it's been like 20 years of this. We would doodle in class. We would make videos at his house in his driveway. It just sort of feels like a natural, inevitable thing to try together. And it just happens to be like a super cool game and sport to show people.
Hey, look, Spike Jonze era, like you grow up when you're a kid and make like tapes that you may show to your friends at school. It sounds like you guys were way more serious about it, but it's not a surprise. All the kids in my high school that were skateboarders were also great videographers, had an ear for like putting music to a video or how to get a great shot. And you can tell in your videography and how you shoot your content now, like now that I'm hearing you guys are skateboarders, where you get that kind of vibe from in your videos. It's not necessarily like really bright and cutesy. It's like grimy, real type of a video. Love it, love it, love it. Like I can definitely see the old school skateboarding influence from there, definitely. But you start trying to share this game with everybody, playing golf, and you create hats, shirts, and come up with the name Belvedere Golf Company. Where did the name come from and why apparel?
That's all Dylan.
I was for sure. No, but Belvedere. So the immediate tie, right, is to the street in Richmond. It runs essentially through the heart of the city, touching both the VCU campus where I attended school, as well as, downtown Richmond. And so that's kind of the obvious immediate tie. We wanted the brand to feel Richmond, like right off rip. Like we wanted it to be able to be relatable immediately to folks who live and work and spend their time in the area. But beyond that, it was kind of trying to find something that felt unique, and folks that aren't from Richmond could relate to it because it looks cool on a hat. There's beyond that, it's not too deep, but yeah, we wanted it to feel Richmond, but to be applicable to anybody, frankly. If they look at the logo on a shirt or a polo or a hat and be like, that's rad, that's cool, that looks like a company I could rock that on the course and like feel good, and that's what it's all about, right? Look good, feel good, hopefully play good. But yeah, when I floated the name to Jack, and we, like Jack said, we have named everything under the sun. We have had skate teams in middle school, and we've had phony clothing brands in college, and we've tried it all. And then when I floated that name, he's like, "Yep, that's it," and we just ran with it.
He just sent me the logo that like with the hat that he's wearing right now, and it was just like, oh, done. Like it just aesthetically, like it's perfect. I think it's 9 letters and the I is right in the middle. And like that is just like aesthetically the symmetry of it. The name sounds cool, but the symmetry too. Like all these things are super important when it comes to just like what a logo looks like. And I just saw it and it was just like, oh my gosh, like, yeah, it's perfect. It's perfect. Like it was the first one where I really felt like, like, no, we could actually make stuff with this. This is it.
Yeah, I got to admit, we're all from Richmond. Some people maybe not from Richmond who are watching or listening to this, but like that name carries weight in the city. So, I think I saw the brand out on the course like a year or so ago. I think at Lakeside, somebody was wearing like Belvidere stuff. I was like, well, who is that? And then I went online. A couple of my friends were following you guys. I was like, man, that is like really dope clothing, dope hats. It was a hat at the time. And yeah, you're right. The symmetry is crazy on the logo. It's classy, but yet like strong. I'm a big fan. Was the hats the first thing you worked on, or did you work on like shirts or something else?
Yeah, the hat was the first thing that came about. I got to double back. Quick question: was that guy at Lakeside did he happen to be freakishly tall and lanky? Just a quick guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pale.
Shout out T-Melt.
I don't want to comment on a person's skin color. This is a very neutral podcast.
Yes, say no more.
He may have been several shades lighter than I am. Yes. And he was very tall.
Shout out
Shout out Taylor
T-Mel.
Melvin.
That guy, he's been a day one supporter.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but yeah, the hats were the first thing to come. Since then, we've just kind of been, we have no experience in manufacturing apparel, so we're really like in over our heads in that regard. So we're just trying whatever we can, but it's a really fun process to try to figure everything that we're not good at in this space. It's been just a fun process to try to figure out.
Absolutely.
So when you started Belvedere, what were like the core values? I know you all said that you like want to be unique and creative and affordable. What were kind of the, I guess, mission statement or theory of Belvedere Golf Co. when you started?
You want me to take this, Dill? Shall I?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think our core values are like directly correlated to the way I think Dylan and I both see golf. The way we see golf, like I said before, kind of is like it's an extremely difficult sport. Like it's very hard, but it's like an incredibly fun game. And I honestly feel like we kind of see our business as that as well. Like starting a business is incredibly hard. Like even working up the courage to do it, just that first step is unbelievably hard. But like the process so far for both of us has been so fun. Like it's actually living out, 20 years plus of these ideas that we've had. And actually just seeing some momentum in that has been rewarding, of course. But also furthermore, like on the golf course is where so many important life lessons are learned, like on accident. You're not even like realizing that it's happening. You're just doing it. Like, for example, like you learn, patience, like how to handle frustration, like laughing after you hit a ball out of bounds and you make a 7. Like the more you do that, the more you realize like, oh, like this is just part of the game. And I feel like that's kind of what our business is as well, is it's just like we are trying, we're going to continue to try, and we're just going to like keep loving the process as we do so and try to show as many people as possible, whether it be YouTube, through our apparel and like the ways that we address, our potential clients. Like we are just trying to show you the awesome life lessons and like the joy that can come from putting yourself out there and trying something super difficult and just like showcasing how awesome that can be. And I just feel like that actually is golf. And I don't know if people know that. And if you got to play the sport to really like experience that, but once you do, I think you just inherently you realize that's what it's about. And I think that's what we're about as well.
Yeah, beautifully said, Jack.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only thing I could add is like it on the course, it's just as much about you and your journey through the game and through your processes as it is like the relationships you're able to build and foster on the relationship on the course as well.
Yeah.
With yourself or with friends or with strangers. Like that is just as exciting and fun as the game itself. It's like just being out there with your mates and enjoying the time spent working on your game, working on stuff in your life. If however you're spending that time talking and commiserating with friends, like that's time well spent. That's extremely valuable, especially in these times, it feels like. And that's, I think, the same approach, like Jack was saying, that we take to the company. Like this is all about just like building something through enjoying the process and meeting new people and enjoying that as well. Like this, for example, like this podcast, like this is awesome. And it's the first time that we've got to meet and like, we're already vibing. I'm enjoying my time already. And like a relationship has been built. And like, that is so sick that golf can do that and that business can too, frankly. So we're in it for the love, 100%, for the game.
Yeah.
And for our people and all the people we haven't met yet. That's what we're in it for.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very eloquently stated, fellas.
For
seriously.
Sure.
I often think about this game is like a testament to how well you can accept failure, and because you're going to fail, in life. And how do you bounce back from that? How do you lean on people that you care about in that failure and still learn lessons from it and then go on to succeed or, do something different to your swing or whatever. It's all an allegory to life. And I'm sure, with any small business or any business, you've had to kind of fight through those early times where you feel like, hey, what am I doing? Like, is this thing successful? Have you all faced any doubts during the beginning of this process, and kind of walk through how you fought through that to get to where you are right now?
Man, every second there's a doubt at every corner. And I think that's the beauty. Like, it's just, we're going to keep doing this, I'm afraid. Sorry, folks, but that's golf. It's like there's a doubt at every shot. And what you have to do is tell yourself, no, I can. And I can at least try. And if I try and fail, then I'll try on the next shot. And you just keep rolling that into the next shot and the next shot, and the next business thing you try. Like, it's all about, like you said, like golf is, you fail more often than you're successful. I mean, how many times around do you hit the perfect shot the exact way you design it in your head? It's, for most of us, it's not that often. But it is about whatever you can to that next shot and just trying to make what you can out of the next one. So to answer that question, yeah, there's doubt every step of the way. And the only way to get through that is to just try.
Yeah, and I think talking about it too, like if Dylan and I are having doubts, and we've had doubts since we started this, like we just express them. And typically we're just like, oh, those were just like doubts. Like we say them out loud, you get them out of your head, you get them, and then you just keep it moving. Like it's just, I don't know. Yeah, it is absolutely like, I think a constant feeling. But the more you just sort of suppress it or push forward in the face of them, the more resilient you become. And they just become like, they go from like genuine doubts to whether or not it's going to be successful or not, to just like little teeny thoughts in your head of like, oh, this might not be the coolest design. And then you're just like, whatever. And you do it anyway. Like it just, I think as soon as we started and actually made the hats and made the shirts, or, told people about our tournament that we were going to have, like as soon as you just do it, like, and you actually put these thoughts into the ether of like, they're real, it just becomes so much easier to just, quiet them, or at least tell them to go away for a little bit.
Mental giants. We all are. I'm telling you. I totally agree, guys. Like, you have to be able to push through the doubts, push through the kind of the negativity, people around you that support you, but also some thinking like, man, maybe you should be doing something else. You just have to believe in your product. And it's clear that you guys believe in this brand. You've put your blood, sweat, and tears into it. And I think we're all worthy by the absolutely crazy content you all are putting out on YouTube, Instagram, all over the internet. Where in the world did you all think, all right, let's just start a YouTube or let's get active on Instagram? And how has that evolved from the beginning of the brand until where it is now, which is just really killing the game?
I think Dylan is
the time where he's.
Yeah, I want to speak about Dylan real quick in this. Like, I have not met many people in my life who have such a one eye for editing, videography, photography, like landscaping, just imagery, and also just like the attention to detail. Like Dylan's focus level on what we put out is like immaculate. It's unbelievable. Like if he notices that like the timing of a ball strike is like off in the music in the background or whatever it might be, like there might be a beat and the ball strike is different, he's going to re-edit that to make the beat match. Like the tiniest attention to detail, he will not move forward unless it's edited to his standards. And I don't think anybody, like I do not have his eye for those standards. And so he'll show me something and I'm like, Dylan, this is perfect. And he's like, no, I've got 12 errors I need to fix. And so like, that's why I'm just like, okay, like this is what he does. This is why I trust him. This is why I believe in him. This is it. Like, so that's from my perspective on just like what he offers in terms of just like YouTube content space. Like this is what he's got a gift. So that's what I want to say. But Take it away, DG, if you'd like.
I appreciate you, Jack. The tire pumping is going to continue here for a second. One, Jack plays some capital G golf, so he makes my job really easy. It's not hard to make Jack's swing look good. Frankly, you could set up a tripod and he could swing his club in front of it, and like a lot of other people would watch just because it's such a pretty swing. But on top of that, Jack has such good comedic timing. I think maybe even he surprised himself a bit with how he was on camera. And that's just been a gift because it's easier to watch a long golf video if the person you're watching is charismatic and engaging and funny. So that's been a huge help in what we do as well. But as far as YouTube goes, the market's pretty heavily saturated right now. And that's a good thing, right? That means the game is growing. There are more creators and more people wanting to get involved, and that's awesome. That also means that there's an opportunity to be different and to work to try to stand out. And right now, that's really all we're trying to focus on. We're trying to find our voice. We're trying to find our signature. And we're certainly going to make some mistakes along the way. So we've accounted for that. But we're only making what we think is cool. And hopefully that translates to the masses. Like, we're not making content for anyone else but ourselves, stuff that we enjoy. And I think that's really the only approach we have right now. We're not paying attention to numbers too much. We're still super young. So that's really not even a thought right now. We're just trying to perfect what we put out and have it reflect the both of us to the best ability. But we're excited. Like, we've said this a couple of times just in personal conversations. Like, it feels like the opportunities are kind of limitless right now because we're so young and there's just still so much to learn. So we're just super excited in that regard.
So have you all seen any, like, what's the biggest, I guess, platform that you're engaging with right now? Do you see like YouTube being kind of your biggest platform? Instagram, you all are pretty big, have had some big hits, or just wherever you're finding any engagement is always welcome?
Yeah, I think you hit it with those being the main two. We're really putting all our efforts into those, be it Instagram and YouTube. YouTube is obviously where we want to really stake a foothold, and that just takes time and repetition. And same with Instagram, frankly, and all social media, right? Like, your users or your viewers will be more trustworthy. I feel like that may not be the right word, but like when you're always there with new content, feeding the algorithm, and folks can count on getting new and engaging, interesting content from your channels consistently, then I think, that's where you can garner some momentum. So we're putting most of our efforts into those two, and really kind of just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. And Jack has spent a little bit of time with TikTok. He's kind of taken the reins on doing some meme work on TikTok and just playing around with that because we're both resident millennials, and that seems to be where Gen Z hangs out, and we haven't figured out what to post or how to post or when to post on TikTok. But it's been a fun and funny process to see what works and what absolutely flops.
Yeah. TikTok is hilarious because, like, with YouTube and Instagram, like, Dylan is like pouring out, like, everything is like, as you said, Carter, and like as I said before, like, meticulous, it's edited, it's like it's authentic to like what we want it to be. It's authentic to us in general, but it's just like done with such precision. And like TikTok I'm just finding like a video of like Stevie from Eastbound and Down and then just putting a caption on it, and it's just like like sometimes it'll get 200 likes, sometimes it gets 0 views at all. Not even likes, just views. It'll get 0 views. And I'm like, this is the craziest algorithm ever. And I just like throw out 40 hashtags and just see what happens. But yeah, it's awesome. I mean, like, social media is just really interesting. Like, it really is like this platform where you can just like honestly like show yourself to the world. So like it feels like a necessity to push forward with it.
And I want to, like, TikTok isn't outside the realm of what we do already. We have I'm sure like you and many of your viewers have a golf group chat, the main group chat with all the guys that play rounds with each other, get together for beers, whatever. And we're constantly sending memes and videos and whatever we can get a laugh out of the group chat with. So we're just taking that and trying to make people laugh on TikTok, and wherever. But it's still authentic to us, but it has certainly been a bit of a head scratcher in terms of how we get more engagement and folks to tune in.
Luck of the
Yeah,
draw
we
on
typically
TikTok,
in our group
man.
chat will sorry, Carter, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say typically, like, and I think something like super important to Dylan and I is it actually is authenticity. Like the creating of the clothes, like we would wear it point blank, and like the creation of the videos, we would watch them. Like the memes, we would laugh at them, and I think like that's super special because it's like it really is just like me and Dylan crowdsourcing like each other's brains and putting out what we think is like, it's just us, it's authentically us. And I think like in our group chat, we have a huge group chat, one of them, and typically we'll like send memes in there that are just like about one person in the chat, like they're not even about golf in general. And I just feel like that's also like really like funny because honestly, some of our TikToks and like mentions in our YouTube videos, like we shout out people that nobody on the planet knows. And I think like that's also just funny. You know what I mean? It's just like us
It's so fun.
I mean, the authenticity just shines through your stuff. I think like I watch too much YouTube. I'm just going to come out and say it right now. Like, my kids say, what do you like to watch on TV? I'm like, I don't know. I watch golf on YouTube, like that's my form of entertainment along with the Washington professional football team. But there's a lot of content out there, like you said, but yours is very unique because you can see the authenticity shining through. You're not trying hard to like get a laugh or like make corny jokes or, doing a lot of the branding stuff that kind of is weird. You can see people like advertising, but not really on their pages. I think you all are like, showing off the product, but like it feels like you're actually golfing with a friend instead of watching someone play golf. And that's so important for somebody that watches way too much golf YouTube. Like you're developing an audience based on your personality rather than a gimmick or some other thing, right? Like no shots to other people who have gimmicks. I get it. It's cool. But like what makes an enduring star is a relationship you're able to build with your audience. So that way you're taking them on a journey while you're going through it. And I think y'all are doing a fantastic job with that. Not only Jack, obviously with you playing, Dylan with your editing skills and like how the story is told. It's just very, very unique. I got to commend you guys, honestly. And I think personally, that's what sets you guys apart from other brands, other influencers. What do you think sets you apart from other brands in the industry?
And it feels a little, I think right now, if I'm being 100% honest, like I don't know how different we are, right? Like we're really still trying to find our voice. We don't, I think I'm not referring to us as artists per se, but every artist, has a moment where they go from imitating to their own signature, right? And so I'd be lying if I said that I wasn't, watching other creators and trying to pick things from what they do that I like that I can implement or that we can implement rather to what we do, right? There's still a lot of that going on because we're so new and we're just trying to find our way in the space. But I think moving forward down the road, like my goal for us is to set ourselves apart by how we treat the game and how we approach our business through that lens. Like it's golf first for all the reasons we listed, like why it's amazing and why we love it and why we want to share it with folks. And that is the mission. And so I don't, like you said, I don't want to call anybody out. I'm not going to, but I feel like there are a lot of folks in the space who have maybe lost sight of that a little bit. I don't blame them, right? Like if someone waves a bag in your face for whatever, like I'll be the first person to say, I don't know how able I would be to turn that down or to give up what I think is important in the company to get that bag. But in the same breath, like we want to keep that the center focus and we want to do things in the name of growing the game in the right way. And I think down the line, I think that's where we'll start to set ourselves apart. and who we choose to work with and what brands we choose to work with and what we choose to platform and what we choose to not. And I think that's just going to be our mindset, at least moving forward.
Yeah. And I think what's also just like really cool about this with Dylan is like, it's just him and me, like in terms of just like, and of course, Carter, like you're offering a platform for us to talk about it, of course, like, and we're so, appreciative of that. And like also just stoked on partnerships. But like at the end of it, like it's me and Dylan coming up with what clothes we want to make. It's me and Dylan coming up with which courses we want to shoot at. It's me and Dylan coming up with who we want to play with. It's like, it's tough to not be authentic when it's just two people. Like it's just, it's just us. And I think that's just not necessarily maybe like different. I'm sure there's plenty of companies where this is a very similar sort of style, but I think it's just awesome that it's very much so like it is. It's just authentic from head to toe. Like we are the ones creating all of it, and it's just like really cool to have that be the case.
Do you think that, in the wildest dreams, right, you all, create a multi-million-dollar apparel brand and blow up on YouTube, all your wildest dreams come true? Do you think it would be harder for you guys to maintain that level of authenticity that you've experienced right now? Or are you kind of being purposeful about, as you scale and grow, to continue to maintain that as like a core model of your business strategy?
No, 100%. And I think like in our pipe dreams, like if we come into resources, we want to share. We want to bring people in, especially folks that already aren't involved. Like y'all know how easy it is to get bit by the bug. And we want to, at a certain point, we'd love to be able to help folks who aren't already involved in the game or even aware of it, in a sense of how great it can be, to bring those people in and to be in communities and places where golf is not the first thing that people think of, to like help show those folks like this is a great outlet and to keep it as accessible as possible. And so I think, yes, we'll be choosy with who we partner with based solely on like, are they in it for the growth and the love of the game the same way we are? And if that's the case, then that's going to make collaboration super easy. We're on the same page. Let's go. But, that also comes with, I think, a certain mindfulness of like, this game hasn't always been accessible for everybody, both financially as well as socially. And I think that's super lame. I think it should be something as great as this game should be accessible for anyone who is looking to put themselves out there and start a new hobby and develop a new love for a sport.
Which I think, Dylan said it best. Like we think partnership is like integral in the long term. Like there is no success without partners. There is no success without Carter, you having us on this podcast. Like no success without, Luke Myers, Mr. Two Off the First himself, coming on the channel with us. Like it is a necessity, and it's just it's a blessing to be able to. And what's interesting too is like we're so young and we're so new to all of this that like we actually like the it almost sort of can feel like the opportunities for the routes that we can take are we have so many, and we just need to figure out where we want to go with it. And I think like there's just something so beautiful about that as well. But partnerships, I think partnerships are absolutely a necessity. And I think if it ever came to the point where, which your question was like, would it be tough to give up the authenticity of like being in complete control over the apparel that we're making and things like that? Like Dylan said, if we're paired with the right people, it won't even be a question of whether or not we're able to let that go, because we're trusting them along the way and they're aligned with our values anyway. So I think that would be the answer. It would just be, we've made these decisions along the way that fit our mold and our desires moving forward.
No squares in the circle. That's what we used to say. I think that, you guys you're cool dudes and you're only going to allow good vibes around you. That's only going to make this brand flourish even more than it already is. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this blossoms. And I agree with you wholeheartedly on growing this game. And it starts with gentlemen like you who bring it to new audiences and aren't afraid to try different things. Like, this isn't your grandpa's old stuffy golf game, right? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
I, for one, did not grow up playing golf, and watching guys like you is really like showing me this game is really, really cool. So thank you all so much. But I got one last question for you. Any piece of advice for entrepreneurs looking to get into golf? Do you have one good thing you could tell someone saying, I want to start a golf business tomorrow?
We're open to any you have for us.
No, just try. Like, I mean, it sounds so simple, and it's been said 1,000 times, but like Jack said earlier, like, I can't tell you how many times at a lunch table or at a bar later in our life, like, it'd be sweet if we did this, or like we had a cool idea, and then that was it. That was the end of the conversation. Nothing happened. We wish we started sooner. We wish we had taken the leap of faith earlier, and that would be my piece of advice. Like, if you've got an idea and you believe in it and you got some homies around you that support it, go for it. The worst that can happen is you figure out a new way to do something else, but you got to just try.
Yeah, and I honestly believe, like, just me and Dylan are proof that, like, actually just trying it already feels more validating and vindicating than never having tried it. Like, regardless of where this goes, I already feel like I checked off like such a big box in my life in terms of just like pursuing something that came from something so genuine and like a passion of mine. So just trying it already, like, it feels amazing. Like, seriously, just try it.
We'll end it there because y'all are putting out banger after banger. This has been 45 minutes of such great conversation, gentlemen. Belvidere.golf. It's very easy to do this in your browser thingy. Type in Belvidere.golf and check out their website, but also go on YouTube, Belvedere Golf Company. You will not be disappointed if you would not watch one of their videos. Just say Carter sent you. Be blessed about it. You can thank me later. Jack, Dillon, thank you both so very much for joining me. And hopefully we'll get out there and play soon. I want to be on the channel one day.
Oh, yeah. No
Hands
brainer.
down. Yeah.
No brainer. Yeah.
Carter, we appreciate you so much.
But only if we play RTJ. Only if we play it. If we can have your RTJ pass, you can be up.
Well, say no more. Say no more. We're going to work that out.
Yeah.
You just witnessed something happen right there, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll be looking forward to seeing you guys on their channel at Robert Trent Jones. So, all right, fellas, thank y'all so much. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you.
You're the man.